Hey there, toy collector friends and Star Wars fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. This is the Triple TC Time Travelling Toy Collector, back with a brand new look at a relatively new figure pack. It's a 3-figure pack. Originally from Star Wars The Mandalorian, but because it features Ahsoka Tano, who's currently wowing us all with her Disney Plus Star Wars series, it seems like an appropriate moment to bring this to the fore. As ever, it's a Black Series collection of 3 figures. It comes with Ahsoka Tano, it comes with The Mandalorian, and it comes with Baby Grogu. There's also a range of accessories, which is one of the things that attracted me to this particular set. Not least because I didn't have a clean Beskar Mandalorian figure. I do have the one where he's iced up, which you've probably seen in a previous video, but not a clean one. Anyway, again, it's really worth it for the combination of these 3 as they appeared in the Mandalorian series, but also, there's not really much going on in terms of, for me, a need to get a different version of Ahsoka Tano from the series that she is now leading. So anyway, let's take a look at this packaging. As ever, it's very sort of high-end feel to it. It's beautiful. I really like it. And talking of likes, before I start whizzing this around, do please like the video. And also, whilst you're there, why not drop a subscription to the channel? I'm trying to get to my next milestone, so it would be really appreciated. It's a small click for you and a huge leap forward for me and for the channel. So I would really appreciate it. Anyway, back to the main event. Again, as we've seen with some of these other Black Series releases, particularly multi-figure boxes, we've got this lovely design that's sort of flat front with the slightly diagonal edge here. We can see, let's see if you can see in the light, the wonderful sort of illustrations we have here of Ahsoka and Baby, as he said, Baby Yoda, we know better. Grogu and the Mandalorian, and there at the bottom, I'll just tilt out for you actually, Ahsoka and Grogu there having a little head-to-head moment. Really nice illustrations. The front contains a render of the 3 figures together, with the figure details on there, plastic-free packaging. Round to this side, we can see, if I angle it that way, you'll get the best lighting, I think. We can see that Ahsoka comes with the 2 curved lightsabers, and the Mandalorian Din Djarin comes with his rifle, which we've seen before. The pistol, I think we've seen before, but the Beskar spear, which I haven't seen before, and I'm quite keen to have. The back of the box, again, it's the same render as the front, and here we are being told to get excited because she's wearing, soft goods. I'll just zoom in a bit more for you so you can see, soft goods. Basically, it's a cloak. I don't know why we are suddenly fixating over this notion of soft goods, but there we are. Little bit of blurb about these 3 coming together, which is, something you'll be familiar with if you've watched The Mandalorian, and if you haven't, why haven't you? It's really good. But yeah, so even as a standalone box set of figures, I really like it. I like the classiness of it. It's the sort of thing that demonstrates to me why I've got back into collecting Star Wars figures. I really like as I say, the classiness of the presentation. It's easy to store, which again is, I know it sounds ridiculous, but when you do end up amassing some of these lovely figures, you don't always want to have them all, always have the capacity to have them all on display constantly. So it's useful to have a mechanism to enable you to rotate that display. And having nice stackable, storable boxes where there's no windows that can get damaged is certainly a way of doing that. However, I'm not leaving them in this box for today. I'm now going to crack the box open. Let me just pull out a little bit more for you there. And I'll get them out. I won't bother showing you all of the nastiness of opening the box. I will be doing it with this craft knife, so I make sure that I don't make any unpleasant damages to the exterior of the box. Try and keep it as pristine as I can, and then I shall get the figures out. So stay with me whilst you're waiting for me to unbox. Remember, smash the like and hit the subscribe button, and I'll have the figures in front of you in as long as it takes me to say, may the force be with you. Okay, so I've taken this out. I was going to have the figures unpackaged, but when I saw what they looked like in the box, I thought, no, actually, I'm going to show you this. So, again, they are going very sort of plastic-free. So the top section here contains this pack, which I'm going to work on the assumption is the accessories. So I'm going to just make a careful slice there on the tape and hope that that's it. Actually, it's not. They're sealed in. Some of the Transformer stuff is that Hasbro do is sort of all wrapped up neatly. So that's not the case. We can see Grogu poking out there. So I can tear this open. And so here we have Grogu in all his little Grogu goodness. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit more for you there. Let's take it all the way. Yeah, so there we have dinky little Grogu with his dinky little hands. Dinky little everything, really. But an adorable face. I mean, that is, you know, that's an adorable face. There's no two ways about it. So there's little Grogu. I'll pop him down to the side for now. And then the rest of what's in this envelope, very nice, is the accessories that are mounted on the card. So we can see from that straight away, we've got Ahsoka's lightsabers there and there. We've got Din Djarin's pistol and his rifle and the Beskar spear there. So that's a really, let me just pull out a bit there for you, a really nice housing of these. Again, not using any plastic apart from the tape, really, just this cardboard to hold it in place. The figures themselves are sort of almost mummified. It's almost horrific. This nice sort of Star Wars branded paper with this cardboard that's holding it in place. We can guess who's who, but I'm not going to subject you to me opening this up. I just wanted to give you a sense of how true to their environmentally friendly approach they were. I'll now endeavour to get them all out and in front of us before I can say, I am your father. So here we go with the threesome out of the packaging. And again, I think these figures at first glance, really well done. Again, this is the same Mandalorian Din Djarin sculpt that we've seen in the previous set that I've reviewed on the channel. Although in that he was all frosted up, to be fair. So this is a frost-free version. And of course, in addition to being a frost-free version, it also comes with the Beskar spear and a nifty little holding point for that there. It's a bit bendy, but that's probably so it won't snap during play, because these are designed to be played with, despite some of our best intentions. The joints are quite stiff, but I like that. There's good wrist flexibility and rotation. As I say, it's quite stiff, fresh out of the box, and out of their mummification. He hasn't got soft goods. He's still got this sort of rubber plastic variant of a cape here, but the figure is very solid. The armor has a really shiny gleam to it. There is good articulation, across the leg with the ankles. It all moves beautifully, so there's a lot of scope. Ouch! There's a lot of scope for posability. As I bump the camera, yep, a lot of scope for posability there with Mando. And again, that Beskar spear, I'm looking forward to getting out of there and posing him with in the near future. Sometimes you need to bend him a little bit forwards to get any kind of purchase, but he is a very posable figure. There's not too much to write home about, as we've already seen with Grogu. He's got no real posability in the head that I can see. Maybe there is a little, but not much. Similarly with the arms, although the hands have got a little bit of wiggly waggly, but nothing significant. And it's a shame he hasn't got anything to sit and hold. This doesn't, this, of all the accessories that we get the duplicated accessories that I'm not bothering to take out for Mando, which are the rifle and the pistol. He does still have somewhere to put the pistol, which is in his holster there, which is well made. But I'm not going to faff around with that. If you want to have a look at that, check out my other Mandalorian figure videos, and you can see me faff to my heart's content with that. But yeah, so there's not a huge amount of posability with Grogu. To be honest, he's almost an additional accessory. That might be sacrilege. I get that you might think that's sacrilege, but for me, I don't know that I would think that this is a figure in its own right. It's very, very small. If you think about, if you go back to thinking about Black Series figures or the original Star Wars figures for like Yoda or the Ewoks, they were still a bit substantial. I think this is, you know, it's cute. It's very much in scale. You know, they can carry him. That's lovely. I think it's, and I'm having a little inner turmoil with myself because I don't really want to say this because I do like the set, but I think it's a bit of a compromise. I think he almost could have been a little bit more of a robust figure with a bit more articulation to justify the price point of the piece. It wasn't overly expensive, but you know, I think if you're going to say there's 3 figures here, he needs to be more of a figure. And that's me coming from a position of growing up with figures that had little to no articulation. So, you know, I get that I'm spoilt with what's in this set. But I think if you're paying this price point and this is the standard of articulation, then Grogu could have had something. And if he couldn't have had more articulation, because that would have been too finicky, then at least give him something to hold or eat, because those are the 2 things he likes to do. Hold things and eat things. And I'd be happy with that. Then we come to, if you like, for me, the main attraction in this set, which is the Ahsoka Tano figure and her soft goods. Now, going off with the core figure to start with, I think this is a phenomenal. Bring it a bit closer. What a phenomenal head sculpt of Rosario Dawson. Rosario Dawson currently playing the role of Ahsoka in the TV series that we're getting on Disney Plus. And I think from a likeness point of view, that is incredible. I mean, yeah, I can talk about the likeness of Din Djarin, but it's got limited scope. This is a humanoid face sculpt, and I think they do it immense justice. I really, really think that that's really great. There is head posability up and down. There's a bit of, I'll open it here. You can see beneath the soft goods, and more on that in a moment. But there is, let's call it waist articulation. Looks a bit like mid-chest, but let's call it waist articulation. And she does have a really good sculpt under there. So her costume is well realised. Again, we've got some wrist articulation, elbow articulation. The costume is visible across the piece. Apologies for how I'm handling the cape. I love the cut of the trousers, which allows for that knee articulation, of course the ankles as well. So we get the full Black Series works here, so there's nothing that's too surprising or disappointing. The soft goods, the soft goods, we can pull her hood up so that she can be all mysterious, like that. Let me just put her foot back. So yeah, we can have her all mysteriously Jedi-esque, if that's your thing. So she can give us that look, which is great. But what I think, whilst I think it's great that we've got this sort of fabric for the figure, it almost, and again, I don't want to, you know, dump all over this set, but it feels a bit unfinished. It feels a bit like they've just cut a bit of cloth and done a bit of work to give it a hood, and then just sort of they've got a slash up the front. It's a bit rubbishy round the back, you know. There's no hemming, there's no hem, there's nothing like that. So it just sort of sits there, and I almost wish that it could have been, even with a bit of wire. And I know some figures do have this, a bit of wire around the edge of the cloak, because then at the very least it gives it a bit of hold, a bit of weight, and a bit of posability, if we're honest, because that's really what we want with these figures, is posability if we're going to put them in dioramas or for photos or whatever we're going to use them for, or just displays. And even if we're going to play with them, this is a bit kind of, we're giving you soft goods, but there's not that much good about it, if I'm perfectly honest. Does it look fitting with the figure? Yes, it kind of does, and it's nice to have the hood and blah 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 blah. But actually, I think I'd kind of like to see a slightly, you've got two polar extremes here. You've got this, which just sort of hangs there, and has no movement or anything because it's just cast out of rubber. Then you've got this, which has no gravitas because it's just a bit of sort of almost cotton cloth that's been thrown together as a coverall. So apologies if you think I'm being a bit harsh about it. I just think it would have been, I'm not, and as I say, I'm not dumping on it. I like it. I think it's very nice. But it doesn't, it's very nice. It sort of sums it up. It doesn't really do too much for me in terms of the overall figure look. It doesn't really lend anything too exciting to the figure. Yeah, I think it's a nice touch. I think it could have been a nicer touch. I'm just going to sort of pop in her lightsabers. I don't know if these come out. I'm worried I'm going to damage it. I'll look into that a bit later. The only reason I'm saying that is because on her belt, well, just below her belt here, there are some tabs that would lend themselves to her lightsaber, the lightsaber holes there, so she could carry the lightsaber handles. But I'm not sure whether or not the blades are actually removable. I shall check that out momentarily. But again, it's nice to have the two. It's nice to have the two lightsabers. I think it's great that these characters come with recognisable and, well, character-driven accessories. I think I'd have happily sacrificed one of Din Djarin's blasters, the blaster or the rifle, for a couple of accessories for baby Grogu, or indeed a slightly more enhanced Grogu. You know, either of those would have suited me, but I guess it was an easy recast of the pre-packaged stuff when they made it. So I get that. But overall, I really think the figures are great. You know, so I've slagged off the soft goods. I've slagged off the quality of baby Yoda, of poor little Grogu, who will have his own identity. My goodness me, he will. Trying to see if I can have him rest on there a little bit more effectively. But I feel like it's a nice set. I feel it's missing something, and I'm not sure what it is. You know, I wish I could say, oh, it's this. And again, with some of the Black Series figures, they especially the ones in some of the early boxes that I've come across so far, they do have a bit of a display option in the box. Now, as you've seen, these three come in a very nice box, but there's no display option. You know, when you open it up, they're not sort of well presented in a windowless frame. They're wrapped in mummified in Star Wars tissue paper, and held in place with some cardboard rings. So in terms of that being a presentation box, that doesn't work either. So you either have them boxed, or and no one can see the figures, or you have them out on display away from the box, and you know, great. Again, I'm a bit disappointed with that. I think, you know, we've seen the two figure pack from Andor. That was beautifully done, a similar design of outer packaging, very artistic, very classy, and you could slide out both sides, and the two figures, Andor and the droid Emo, were both presentable within that format. Similarly, we had Paz Vizsla with the John Favreau presentation box. Again, same design of box, and out slides the display window. This does not happen with this set. So again, it lets me down a bit there. I'm looking for, as an adult collector, I'm looking for that display ability, and I'm paying adult collector prices. You know, if we've got this set, we haven't paid $20 for it. You know, it's a high-end set. We've also got the Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane 2-pack, which has just landed, which again looks exactly the same externally, and I'll be very interested to see what that looks like when I crack those figures out of that as well in a very soon upcoming future video, because I think there's a real opportunity for Hasbro in their Black Series to create that collector vibe, that high-end Star Wars action figure collectible vibe, and they do it in some of the issues, and then they don't do it in some others, and I just think that's a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a lack of consistency, whereas you are consistently paying quite robust prices for what you're getting. So anyway, I'm going to stop my little moan about that, because I don't want this to be, you know, too much of a lambasting of the quality of what we're getting. I would like these figures to be not quite so stiff as they are. There we are, because I do start to think that I'm about to break them somehow. Another thing with this cloak is you can't actually see what you're doing, which doesn't necessarily help. But again, yeah, it would be nice if we could splay the cloak out. So again, some wire in the hem would make that, you know, far more attainable as a display option. Because it's great to have them posable, but if their outfit then becomes something that gets in the way of that, then we are, alas, missing out. But that's my take on it. You might have a different one, and that's, you know, there's not much more to show you around these figures. I think it's very nice that I've given you my thoughts. I've obscured Grogu a little bit there. I didn't mean to do that, Grogu. I'm terribly sorry. I will do a few poses and stuff with these figures so that I've got some photos to cap off this video, as I tend to try and do for all of the videos. So I hope this has proved insightful for you. I hope you've had a chance to have a look at these figures, in case you were wondering whether or not you should try and pick them up if you missed them the first time around. I think this set is now only available on the secondary market, but you never know, you might pick it up somewhere if you keep your eyes peeled. I think the quality of the figures is good, particularly the Mandalorian himself and Ahsoka. I think the baby Yoda / Grogu figure is okay as an accessory. I think it's a bit naughty to call it a figure in its own right, although of course to all intents and purposes that's exactly what it is. But I would have liked to see a bit more, it treated a bit more like a figure in its own right. And if you think about it, where was he in the box? He was tucked away in the pack of accessories. So there you go. Would I have liked to see an alternative display option for the figures, considering they are Black Series, considering the outer packaging was really very classy? Yes, I would. So that's a bit of a low for me. The strengths are, the quality of the sculpts are amazing. I think the likeness to Rosario Dawson in this character is fantastic. I think the modelling is overall very good. I think I'm personally, people will have different views on whether or not they think that the sculpts are screen accurate. I'm personally very happy to now have a Mando figure that isn't iced up, so that I've got alternative display options. So that for me is a win in and of itself. Yeah, I'm really happy that I've picked this up, and I hope it's been useful and insightful for your good selves. Thank you very much for joining me for the last 20 minutes or so on this video looking at these three. It has been the Mandalorian, Grogu and Ahsoka Tano 3-pack from Star Wars The Black Series from Hasbro. I've been the time traveling toy collector, and you've been a fantastic audience. Just to mention one more time, do please like the channel, do please subscribe to the channel, and of course I hope to see you in a future video very soon. Take care, and remember that a thing of beauty really is a joy forever. Bye bye for now. Oh, hey there, toy collector friends and Star Wars fans alike. Just before we wrap on this video, I just wanted to say that I have just spent some time messing with the figures and with the accessories, and I can confirm that the blades for the lightsabers do detach from here, and then these can be attached onto the belt of Ahsoka Tano. Just wanted to let you know that, because I think that is a nice little play feature. So you get arguably 2 accessories for the price of 1 in each of the lightsabers. It's not a huge addition to what I'm wanting to talk about. I just wanted to let you know that that was a feature that was available as part of the play value of the set. Anyway, take care, and as I say, a thing of beauty, particularly these 3 things of beauty, really are a joy and a toy forever. Bye-bye for now.